There we go. We give esteem, honor, and praise to the Most High Yah by way of YAHUAH HaMashiach, our Master. And we look at John 5:39. And it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. Let's look at something in Daniel chapter 2, I want to say, chapter 3, I want to say. Daniel chapter 3. You know, the biggest thing that people make mistakes is they don't hold fast that which is good. And when you don't hold fast that which is good, things can happen. 3 and 16 of the book of Daniel. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our Elohim whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship thy golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visions was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heat. Now, I'll leave that 7 times heating up alone in great detail, but you ought to know what it's referring to, that it made mention that he decided to heat up this furnace 7 times hotter than it was normally heated up, knowing that the master had went through that furnace of affliction, and knowing that he was afflicted with them 7 abominations, which heated it up a little worse than what it already was. The sowing of discord among brethren, and the false witnesses, and the evil imaginations, and feet swift to run into evil. You know what I'm saying? All these things. You sit back and realize something, that if you got a mind that's always thinking about doing wicked things, and your feet quick to run to go do wicked things, y'all to test you. See, I'm gonna sit back and tell you something. We look at so many different things that are like, okay, I ain't doing this, so I'm straight, or I ain't doing this and I'm straight, or I ain't doing this and I'm straight. And then you look at, but you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're doing that, and you're doing this, and you're doing that. Things that you overlook, you know what I'm saying, that are just as prevalent and destructive as the things that you think are big. See, and then look, I keep the Sabbath, I don't eat no pork. You know, I'm married, so I don't commit fornication, and this, that, there, and the third. But then you sit back and look at your faith is small. You have no mercy, you have no compassion, you have no ability to forgive. You know what I'm saying? You got bad judgment. You judge things based on the hearing of your ears and the seeing of your eyes, and not off righteous judgment, and actually search the whole matter out before you even speak or render an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff we'll look at it and we won't judge it all the way out. You just judge it off what somebody told you. And the majority of the time, you're going to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have all the facts. No, it's never good to go on stuff on no third party. When you know the word say you're supposed to have 2 or 3 witnesses to establish a matter. And a nigga will go off one. And if you do that, you sinning. Because you didn't do what the man, you went outside of his instruction. I'm saying that to say this. That's how easy you can do stuff. This is what can preclude you and hinder you, because you're not pausing and thinking and marinating on the word before speaking or making a decision. All this here. I was telling the brother this earlier. When I was depressed, not really having that much of control over your mental faculties, your moods, your emotions, that if something made me mad, I could just take off, like boom, and react and move in a manner different than what I usually would. You know what I'm saying? To where somebody who sit back, they don't know me, they can say, okay, I can see that. This nigga's like this nigga's like that. But somebody who knows me, who would be able to see that, no, there's something wrong with him. That's not normal for them. That would you sit back and you looking at, just using that myself as that sit back looking at as righteous judgment. Where you just not gonna go by this nigga snapped. Or this nigga did this because I noticed because I know before that was brought out, I know niggas had to be sitting back looking at me like this nigga is bucking, this nigga is tripping. But it ain't really crossed nobody's mind more than likely. Something has to be wrong with him. See, I was with somebody yesterday and they talking about somebody wanting to kill themselves and all this, that, there, and the third. But these niggas ain't really want to kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? They were just trying to get some attention. 99.9% of the time, when somebody is really want to do something to themselves or really depressed or going through it, most people look at them, they think something wrong. Matter of fact, this is what it was. I was with Will and his stepdaddy. And his stepdaddy was describing something about his family member. And he was running it down. He was like, yeah, she's depressed. And he was like, everybody else thinks she's crazy. But he was like, I know she need help. She need this because I know she ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I mean by judgment and sit back looking at something. See, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah executed righteous judgment because they considered, I could get my life spared by walking in the pathway of the wicked and following my own way to save myself or to pleasure my flesh, or I could walk in the pathway of the Most High and get life and trust in Him that you can sit back and look at. Because what we finna look at is, you could go through the fire, right? And if you're going through the fire with YAHUAH, you won't get burned. But if you're going through the fire without Him, you will burn. You know what I'm saying? Because He can protect you from the fire, or He could be the consuming fire that takes you out. And it's really going to be contingent on which pathway that you go. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be able to your ability to judge properly and to know what you being led by. Are you being led by your own heart, or you being led by the Ruach? Because if you're being led by the Ruach, you're going to go where He take you. You're not going to go your way. You're not going to do your thing. And you definitely ain't going to get mad at somebody when they tell you that you can't believe that Yah took you in this pathway. Because Yah not going to take you in a pathway to commit sin. He's not going to take you in a pathway of unbelief. He's not going to take you in a pathway of confusion. So if those things coming upon you, then you got to automatically know who's bringing it. This is what Nebuchadnezzar is representative of, is the adversary. He is trying to get Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego to tempt them to go outside of the way. But these were called, look at Daniel chapter 1 and you can sit back and see what they call it. Daniel 1 and 3. Don't think I'm just saying something just to be saying. There's a conclusion to it. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain children of Yasharal, and of the king's seed, and of princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as has had the ability in them to stand in the king's palace, whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. Now it is amazing. It is amazing the words that he spake here to describe these young men. And we're going to look in Daniel chapter 1 in the Hebrew for some of these words to see how he described these young men. For Daniel chapter verse 4. And let's look at this Hebrew word for blemish, because he say these are sons and who has no blemish. So that's the first thing that you ought to sit back and look at, because he say they are of the king's seed. That means no spot or defect. That's the first thing it says, right? They're of the king's seed. They'll have no spot or defect. And the king only wants certain of these children that they might stand in the king's palace. That means he don't want everybody. He just wants certain ones who fit this. Let's look at something I think is Colossians 1 and 26. Matter of fact, don't even get Colossians 1 and 26. Go to Ezra. Ezra chapter 6, I want to say. Make sure that's what it is. It ain't Ezra 6. It might be Nehemiah. I got to find that. That sun just came to my. There we go. Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 61. Follow me on this here though. The Hebrew word for blemish in this word is moon. It's spelled M''UWM. It should be moon. Let me see if that's where I said it right. It ain't coming up right now. There we go. That's just what it is. It's moon. It means no defect, no blemishes, no spot, no stains. Nehemiah 7 and 61. And these were they which went up from Tel Melah, Tel Haresha, Cherub, Adon, and Immer. But they could not show their father's house, nor their seed, whether they were of Yasharal. So they couldn't show that they were of Yasharal. Now remember what Romans chapter 9 say. Hold this here. He said they couldn't show their father's house nor their seed. Hold it, Nehemiah 7, and look at Romans chapter 9, verse 6. They couldn't show their seed. Remember, he said they got to be of the king's seed. No blemish. Got to be the king's seed. No blemish. Romans 9 and 6. Not as though the word of Elohim have taken none effect, for they are not all Yasharal, which are of Yasharal. Now remember, these men couldn't prove who their father's house was, not what seed they came from, or if they were of the master. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. He say that is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Elohim, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Now come back to this Nehemiah chapter 7. Now you got to sit back and look at it. The three set apart young men, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, they showed forth that they were the master's seed. And we're going to sit back and show that because of the trust they had in Elohim to walk in his pathway. But not only that, but to trust him because they were led in this direction. Anybody they could have grabbed, they grabbed them three. Come on back to Nehemiah 7. Look at verse 62. He says, the children of Delilah and the children of Tobiah, the children of Dakota, 642. And of the priests, the children of Habiah, the children of Kaz, the children of Bazariah, which took one of the daughters of Bazariah the Gildite, the wife, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but it was not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood. Well, let's look at the word register here in Nehemiah and let's see what we get. Because it said they sought their name in the register. We look at register, it's kathab, a writing document, an edict, a register, an enrollment, a roll, a mode of writing, a character, letter document, writing, a written edict. So they sought their name in the book, but their names weren't found in the book. Then they were polluted and put out. They couldn't be a part of the priesthood. Well, what do we know about the priesthood? We know according to Yeshayahu 61 that you would be priests of the Most High. We know from Revelation chapter 5 that the blood or the dam or the door which leads to the pathway is what made you a priest or made you Levi or be joined to show forth that you of the king's seed. So what do we look at? Revelation 21 and 26. 21 and 26. Revelation 21 and 26. And they shall bring the esteem and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defile, neither whatsoever work abomination or make a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. We look at these men, they couldn't prove who their father was. Because he said, he that overcometh, he shall be my son, and I shall be unto him a father, and he inherit all things. They couldn't prove their seed, and they couldn't prove that they were of YAHUAH. Now, what would preclude them from not being able to do this? Because they could not sit back to have the evidence or the documentation to show that they were sons. Therefore, they were defiled and they were polluted. They had to be put out. They had a blemish. We have to make sure that we show ourselves to be of Abba Yah's household. We have to show forth that we are of this. This is our father and this is his house. How do we show that? How do we show that? Well, let's look at 2 Corinthians 6 and 16 and sit back and show how we show that. Let's look back and show about how you show forth you in your father's house. Get Isaiah 66 and 1 along with it. And what agreement have the temple of Elohim with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim. And as Elohim have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Well, the master told you that his body was the house of Elohim, or the temple. He told you to abide in him, and I in you. So let's look what he said in Isaiah 66 and 1. So how would you sit back to show you of your father's house? What is the attribute that would need to be exemplified to sit back and show that you are of this man's household? Get Jeremiah 7 along with that, about verse 21. (66 and 1) of YAHUAH. Thus saith Yahuwah, the Shamahim is my throne, the Arats is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all these things has my hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahuwah, but to this man will I look. Hold on, y'all. Yep. Hey, hold on, because you know we getting it in right now. You want me to merge you on that? I'm working right now. You want me to merge you on that?
Yeah, if you want.
All right, I'll talk to you about it when I'm done, though.
This line is now off hold.
All right, y'all, hold on. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Didn't realize I still had that low battery power on there. I need that nigga to charge up all the way like, oh my, hold on. Did that and all the emails came out. So, listen to what he say. For all those things have my hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahuwah. But to this man will I look, even to him that is a poor and of a contrite spirit, and tremble at my word. So you sit back and look at it, right?
No, that's...
What was I talking about the other day? Remember what we were talking about in the book of Joshua, book of Yahushua, son of Nun? He say, me and my house. Go on and get it, 24th chapter. Ain't no sense of talking about it. We still holding Daniel. You could drop Nehemiah 7. We done with that. We still holding Daniel 1, Daniel 3. I ain't even have it in my mind to go this direction, but Todah Yah, either way it go. 24 and 14 of Yahushua, son of Nun. Now therefore fear Yahuwah and serve him in sincerity and truth, and put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood, and in Mizraim, and serve ye Yahuwah. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahuwah, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your father served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahuwah. Get you, I bring 3 and 1 of Hebrews 3 and 1. He say, me and my house gonna have to serve Yahuwah. You have to sit back and look at it. And we still holding Jeremiah chapter 7, that if you the temple of the living Elohim, then you are his house. See, it's 2 things supposed to dwell in his house. It's 2 things in his house. And we gonna look at these things because I posted a picture about it the other day. Hello? Hello? Now, I posted a picture about it the other day. It's two things supposed to be in his house. And we got to make sure that we have that if we his house, because you got to understand something. You're supposed to be walking according to the pattern of which he laid in the mount. If the pattern of which he made in the mount is a similitude of Mashiach, and that's the house, and he say, me and my house, we gonna serve Yahuwah. And we turn around and we looking at, he put these priests out because they couldn't prove who their father's house was, what seed they came from, and if they were of Yasharal. So we know that the seed is the promise. That means we have to show we are led by the Ruach. Meaning you led by Abba Yahuwah, by Hashem Yahusha. That's who you led by. Because we're going to, most high willing, before we get out of here, we're going to look at Jeremiah chapter 17. Because like I say, that picture that I posted the other day with Lecrae on it, you know what I'm saying? This is when this came to my mind. To preach about this today. That's when it came to my mind. That's when I was inspired to do this here. But I'm going a little different direction that we done started on than what I had in my mind. But he says sometimes deliver us from evil means deliver us from our own desires and thoughts. And he say the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? But then in another place he say, who has known the mind of Yahuwah that we should instruct him? So that means that we need to have a heart or a mind transplant. You need a new heart and a new ruach, a new way of thinking and a new spirit to direct you. Because when we find ourselves not being able to prove who our father is, and not be able to prove what seed we are, and not able to prove that we are Yasharal, then we're going to be polluted and put out the priesthood. Knowing that Mashiach has made us kings and priests by his blood, that means his blood has become none effect unto us. Therefore, we are defiled, and we are not the moon or the child without blemish, like we started off in Daniel chapter 1, verse 4. Because he say, bring me children of the king's seed that they might stand in my palace or in my courts. So to stand in his courts, we got to prove something. We got to prove what seed we come from. We got to prove who our father is. We got to prove we of Yasharal. We got to prove what seed we come from. That's only going to be manifested in the direction that we walk and the way that we live. Ain't no other way around that. I thank y'all for the word. Where we at, right? I done forgot where I was going. Oh, Hebrews 3:1. Thank y'all. Hebrews 3:1. Listen to him. He said, me and my house, we going to serve Yahuwah. Now, you got to remember, this is Yahushua, son of Nun, speaking, a similitude of Mashiach. So he's saying, me and my household, we will serve Yah. He said, if you find it evil to serve Yah, let that be known. You know how many people in the world find it evil to serve Yah? They find it evil because I don't want to do this. That's why he say choice children. You notice there was many children in the land of Yehuda that they could have brought in the king's palace and brought. They didn't bring everybody. Again, many are called, few are chosen. I only want the choice seed. I don't want no scragglers. I don't want no blemishes. They need to be well favored. And they must have wisdom.
Get off the table. Why you on the table? Yeah.
Wherefore, Kadesh brethren, this is Hebrews 3:1. I bring 3:1. Wherefore, Kadesh brethren, partakers of the calling of Shamahim, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Hamashiach Yahusha. Now sit back when he say partakers of the calling of Shamahim. That means partakers of the things that are eternal. Are we partakers of, this is again a showing forth of being led by the Ruach. You've been called by the Ruach, you're gonna follow that. And you're gonna show forth yourself to be a son of Elohim. The end of the day is by becoming a son of Elohim. Like I say, I'm gonna go over it more in the meeting. But like I was mentioning, if certain things come to your heart, and you may not necessarily know, is this Yahuwah or not? You sit back and you wait to see the manifestation of it happening to know if it's the word that comes from Yahuwah or no. You know what I'm saying? And you caught in between the two of, if it's of Yahuwah and you doubt, you damn, like we've been talking about. Talk about that last week. But if it's of Yahuwah and you believe, then you shall receive, therefore you are going to be Baruch. Because faith is the most vital, important thing that any man, woman, and child upon this earth can possess. Without it, we can't please y'all. That's why he say anything that's not of faith is sin. And that puts you in a hard place, especially if the adversary coming at you about certain things to cause you to doubt. Because he knows doubt is indecision. And indecision is a decision. And that decision is you don't trust Yahuwah. Therefore, that's a blemish upon you. We don't consider that at times. We don't consider that. We don't weigh it. Because we get caught up in our flesh. That flesh is deadly. It has to be put to the side. The flesh will always cause you to doubt Yah. It will always cause you to go outside the way. It will always cause you to do the things that you ought not do. It will always do that. There's nothing good about the flesh. That's why the master said don't profit anything. There'll be no gain from it. Anything that appeases your flesh, there will be no gain from it. None. Period. Irregardless of what the world tell you. Irregardless of what any person will tell you. Any sinner will tell you. There's no gain from the flesh. The only gain you get is death. The gain is in the Ruach. This is what I'm telling you. We've been talking about this here because a lot of stuff I've been talking about is just things that I've either seen, heard, or experienced myself lately. Period. Y'all don't even, I was telling Will this yesterday. We sit in the car. I tell him, and y'all don't even sit back and realize or understand that. I draw and put him down. Put him down. Thank you. Watch out. Don't open that door. Don't open that door. Ease your way in. Ease your way in. He's right behind the door. He's right behind the door. How many put this out as I was telling him? I draw inspiration from a lot of things. Sometimes that I could even draw inspiration from something that directly related to me or said to me, and it's not actually nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that there was an inspiration, there was word that came from the situation. That just happened recently when we were looking at YAHUAH being the firstborn in Egypt, sacrificed for our deliverance. It came from something that was said to me by somebody else. It wasn't even really about what they said. That statement, one, came in my head, and then the word came right after that. Because it wasn't about what was said to me. It was about what was said. He wanted me to put a word to that. You know what I'm saying? Because the word came right behind that, and it came from out the blue. I wasn't even thinking about it. Just came out of nowhere. And then that came out of nowhere. And then the word that pertained to that started coming to my head. And like, okay, I'm going to drop that word on them on tomorrow. I can see things. I can experience things. You know what I'm saying? And use that. It's the same way when dealing with a situation where I stood right in front of y'all and say, yeah, I did this here. I was wrong. This is how I related. Not to do anything other, but to give the example for others to do better and not make that same error and mistake and to take accountability for what I did that wasn't proper. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say a man of a humble and contrite spirit, that's who going to dwell in his house, in his body, in his temple. When you humble and contrite, that means you can acknowledge that you were wrong and you are sincerely saddened by that error not to make it again. That's contrition. He say he won't despise that. He will accept that. Many people ain't accept it because you're not really contrite on what you've done. That don't really bother you. Because a lot of people in this word are not going to say, okay, I was wrong on that. It's the same way I sat back and I told you, okay, Troy said, hey man, you were wrong for snapping like that. You shouldn't have did it. What you gonna say? Yeah, you right. When you got dudes who feel like they got the word and know what I'm saying, nigga can't tell them they did something wrong. You can't tell them that. And then the average person look at it and feel like if you got the word, you can't never have no flaw, no fault, do nothing. That can't never happen. That's not reality. You still dust. You still a human being. You still a human being. You strive every day to sit back to make sure I keep my mouth in check. I don't offend my brother. You know, the most part, the easiest part is not to offend Elohim. A lot of times the harder part is not offending your brother, your sister. You know what I'm saying? This is because I was just talking to Will about this here. And he told me, like, I ain't never made y'all think, nigga, I was this, that, there, and the third. Ain't carried myself like that or spoke like that. I've always told you, as long as you alive, you will continue to grow and mature in this word. The minute you feel like you say out your mouth or think in your heart, I got it, I ain't got to grow no more, you going to die. You going to hell. That's pride. That's pride. You got to fight the good fight of faith. You got to endure to the end. As long anything alive that's not growing is dead. You're dead. The minute you say, I ain't got to keep growing. I don't got to mature no more. But like Will told me, say you sit back and you look at, you hear the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that I have, you will just imply, oh, bro, wouldn't make an error in nothing. But then there's some things you're not going to make no error in, and there's some things you need experience. Like, I feel like, okay, I could raise children pretty well, but I don't have any children. So therefore, me being a parent, anybody, I don't care how good of a parent you think you might be, you're going to make some mistakes and errors because you've never been a parent before. It's a new experience. Word or no word. You can have a word that don't mean that you're not going to make a mistake as a parent. It's an arena you ain't never been in before. You've never done it before. Like I just mentioned to those that were on before I started, I got in a situation that I hadn't been in for 12 years. Word or no word, there was going to be mistakes was going to be made. I ain't did this in 12 years and never that serious. You know what I'm saying? And I acknowledged that long beforehand to the individual that was a partaker of that situation. Because I know I'm going to make some error. I know I'm going to mess up somewhere along the line. I'm going to do something that's crazy or stupid. I know it's going to happen because of inexperience. That's just going to happen. You get married, it's certain things going to happen because of inexperience. The word can show you how to correct it. You can know all that, but y'all forget we still dust and ashes, you flesh and blood. And where inexperience comes from, mistakes come from that. That's going to happen. As long as you keep going and you gain the experience, you'll get better at it, if that's your desire. If you have a ready and willing mind to get better at it, you'll get better at it. If you don't have a ready and willing mind to get better at it, you're not going to get better at it because you don't want to. Verse 2 though, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moshe was faithful in all his house. For this man was counted more worthy of more esteem than Moshe, inasmuch as who have builded the house have more honor than the house. For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is Elohim. That's what we already read in Isaiah 66. And Moses truly was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. But Mashiach as a son over his own house, that's why Yahushua son and say, me and my house, we gonna serve Yahuwah. Whose house are we, if we hold fast the confidence of rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end. You know what ends up happening? We end up losing that hope, right? We go to on and we were happy with that hope. See, get this Matthew chapter 13. I'll show you what happened when you lose that hope and that rejoicing from that hope. We still holding Daniel 1, Jeremiah 7. I got some stuff in Exodus to hit, but I'm gonna finish this Jeremiah 7 first. I'm gonna get that Jeremiah 7 first though. But I want it Matthew 13. I want it Matthew 13 and 20. That's what I want. Matthew 13 and 20. And then to sit back to finish what we were talking about in this Nehemiah and that Kathar, or that register, seeking to find their name in the book, but their name wasn't in the book. Hold on, y'all. Hey, I'm preaching right now, bro. Now, hold on one second, y'all. I know he wasn't finna call me, but nothing but some crazy. My bad. All right. Hello? That was you, Lil Stanley? Oh, I ain't know you was on there. Hello, who just called? What's going on? All right. Well, shoot. Let me hang your call up then, Stanley. All right, y'all. So he said, but he that received the seed in the stony places, the same as he that received the word and the knowing with joy received it. Yet he have no root in himself, but endure for a while, for when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, and by and by he is offended. So we have to remember, you have to keep that hope all the way to the end. Because if you don't keep it all the way to the end, you're going to end up getting offended. And when you get up getting offended, you're going to turn away from the word. That's why you got to keep it all the way to the end. And if you're going to serve this, that's why he say, me and my house. This man was talking about the master and those in him. You're going to have to serve him. You're going to have to be directed by him. And you're going to shun evil. You're going to find it an evil thing to go against Yah than to find it a good thing to go against him. Let's look at this Jeremiah chapter 7. 7 and 3. Seven and 3. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts. Matter of fact, make it one. The word that came to Yirmiyahu from Yahuwah, saying, stand in the gates of Yahuwah's house, and proclaim this word, and say, hear ye the word of Yahuwah, all ye of Yehudah, that enter in at the gates to worship Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharal, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Repent, the kingdom of Shamahim is at hand. You're going to have to change your ways and doings to dwell in this house. Trust ye not in lying words, saying the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah are these. For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, if you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt, then I will cause you to dwell in this place in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. But ye trust in lying words that cannot profit. So I say the flesh profiteth nothing. That's what we end up trusting in, things that cannot profit. This man said if you execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, you have to sit back and look at it, be able to execute judgment. You got to be able to judge what's right from what's wrong. And a lot of time we don't do that. I would tell you, you got a lot of situations that come up, man, and it's like the old telephone game when you was in school. One person say something, and by the time it get to the last person, it is absolutely nothing what that other person said, and don't nobody actually go verify if this person said this or not. A lot of times niggas voice their own personal opinion about a matter and make it seem as if another person is the one who stated that, and they can't be man or woman enough to be accountable and say, no, I said that, and this is why I said it. They'll let that go on and be like a nigga did that. See, we'll be dealing with that this week too. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk. That stuff there, that ain't cool. If we don't sit back, that's not executing judgment. If we gonna execute judgment, that's right ruling. How we sit back and look, that's why you say you lack mercy, judgment, and faith. You don't even know how to rule right. You don't even know how to discern between what's right and what's wrong. How you gonna be saved with that? That's a blemish. You know what I'm saying? Having things from lack of experience and sitting back to be made like this here and having blemishes is two totally different things. Because we know Ephesians 5 and 26 say, can't have no spot, wrinkle, or blemish. What brings a spot and a blemish? Sin brings spots and blemishes. That's what brings spots and blemishes, transgression and sin. So we can't be children. To be of the king's seed, can't have that. Let's go back to Daniel though. I'm going to we're trying to find that name in the register. You got to be sitting back trying to find your name in the book. It said anything that defile. That means defile is pollution, spots, blemishes. That name ain't written in the book. You ain't going to find your name in there. Daniel 1 and 4. It said the next thing it said to these children were who of the king's seed and of the sons of Yasharal is that they were well favored. Well, let's look at well favored. Well, we know well is told, which means good, pleasant, and agreeable. It's good and it's right. Well, let's look at favored. And it's Moray. Sight, appearance, or vision, what is seen or power of seeing, so that you can see that they were good in his eyesight. Well, let's look at something, right? Since they were good in his eyesight, Ecclesiastes 2:26. After that, Galatians 2:15. For Elohim give to a man that is good in his sight. That's well favored. Wisdom and knowledge and joy. So we had to sit back and look at that. He gave that to Moses. He gave that to Abraham. He gave that to Jacob. He gave that to Isaac. He gave it to Daniel. He gave it to YAHUAH. We sit back and look at Yah give what he want to give to who he want to give when he want to give it. He said, if a man, that's the same thing. They say, man, we heard stuff about Paul. The master say, Paul is a chosen vessel unto me. He was good in my eyesight, irregardless of what y'all think. Irregardless of what y'all think, this man is good in my sight. I'm going to give him knowledge, wisdom, and joy. That's well favored, or what we would say is grace. That man give this who he want to. He said, I have mercy on whom I have mercy. I have compassion on whom I have compassion. Hold on, y'all. What's going on, man? Man, he get his stuff to who he want to give to. That's to the bottom line. Well, let's look at the rest of the verse, though. But to the sinner, he give travail. Hebrew, the word for travail actually means job. We'll be dealing with that later on. To gather and to heap up that he may give to him that is good before Elohim. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. That man say it's a sinner job to go to work and gather to heap up to give to the righteous. That's their job. That's what they made for. But he say Elohim give to who he want to give knowledge, wisdom, and joy. He give that to who he want to give to. That's when you sit back and you look at, they say that's why they say they wanted children with no blemish and well favored. So we looked at told Marab mean well favored, mean good in his eyesight. So there's people with no sin that's good in his eyesight. So to sit back and look at it, if we want to stand in the king's palace, we got to be with no blemish and good in his eyesight. Because to have no blemish is going to make you good in his eyesight. See, turn around and look at Habakkuk 1 and 4. Look at how he say this here.
Hey, y'all stop.
1 and 4. He said, therefore the Torah is slacked and judgment doth never go forth. Now, I didn't mean that. You're not diligent in none of that. That's why the word slack. That's why you can't discern between what's right and what's wrong.